want to thank everybody for coming or watching, and welcome to the draw for the 93rd Whitney Stakes this weekend. It is presented, this draw, by America's Best Racing, and as always, we thank America's Best Racing for their support of all the things we're doing here at the New York Racing Association. Also, I want to remind people that while the races from Saratoga will be brought to you on Fox Sports, as they are every single day, there will be a special broadcast from 4 to 6 on FS1 this Saturday, which will include the Whitney as well as some other races. Before we get started with the draw, I think it's impossible to have an event around the Whitney Stakes without remembering Mary Lou Whitney, who passed away last year at 93 years. And, of course, Mary Lou Whitney, a very, very important and beloved member of the Saratoga community as well as our racing community. There's an important event happening this week in honor of Mary Lou. It's organized by Mary Lou's husband, John Hendrickson, who is here today and will be available to the media after the event. And we're honored to have him here. The Mary Lou Whitney Collection Auction A Mary Lou Whitney Collection Auction offers fans the opportunity to own a special piece from the Queen of Saratoga herself, including jewelry, hats, and even her 1992 Kentucky Jaguar. The auction is yet another example of Mary Lou's philanthropic legacy, with all proceeds to benefit the future home of the Backstretch Medical Clinic, operated by Saratoga Hospital and BEST, the Backstretch Employees Services Team. John, as we said, will be available following the conclusion of the draw to meet with the media to answer any questions. Want to thank once again everybody for coming. Want to thank members of the racing office, Jory Gorski, as well as Rob Driscoll. We're going to draw the 93rd Whitney.
One is By My Standards, Calhoun, Jose Ortiz.
By My Standards draws post position 1. Brett Calhoun is the trainer. Jose Ortiz, the current leading rider, has the mount.
5, Tom's Dietot, Stahl Rosario.
The morning line favorite, Tom's Dietot, GMB Racing, Al Stahl, the trainer, Joel Rosario with the mount.
2, Improbable, Baffert Irad.
Number 2, Improbable, owned by Windstar, China Horse Club International, as well as SF Racing. Bob Baffert trying to win consecutive Whitneys. Irad Ortiz has the mount.
4, Mr. Buff, Kimmel Jr.
The number 4 is Mr. Buff, the New York bred. Chester and Mary Broman, the owners. John Kimmel, the trainer. Junior Alvarado with the mount.
And 3, Code of Honor, Shug Johnny.
Number 3, Code of Honor, last year's Travers winner, trying to become the 4th winner of the Whitney for trainer Shug McGay, owned by William S. Farish and ridden by John Velasquez. Thanks, guys, and as soon as we can clear you guys out of here, we'll bring up some of the members, some of the trainers for this race. We're very pleased to have Shug McGay with us. Shug McGay, of course, won this race with honor code back in 2015 in a Whitney. I'm sure you all remember, one of the most thrilling Whitneys we've ever run. Shug is trying to win the Travers Whitney double, something he did in the same year with Easy Goer back in 1989. We have not had a Travers Whitney double since 96 and 97 when Will's Way did it. Shug, if you could come on up and stand as far away from me as apparently possible, we'd appreciate it. Thanks for coming, Shug. Thanks again, Shug, for coming. How is Code of Honor doing since the Met Mile?
I think he's done well. They came out of the Met Mile, and, you know, it was a pretty hard race, but I kind of watched him close, and I thought his 2 works since we've been up here have been very good, and, you know, his energy level seems to be good. He looks good, so he's 2 for 2 over this track, so we're looking forward to giving him a chance.
Winning the Travers and the Whitney in consecutive years is something you've never done, but you obviously did win it in the same year with Easy Goer. I mean, being in a race like this, does it make you think back to some of the great horses, Personal Ensign, that won this race, and, of course, Honor Code as well?
Well, like you say, that race with Honor Code that day was something. Personal Ensign was really special because it came up on a sloppy track, and I really wasn't sure if I should run her or if I shouldn't run her with the injury she'd had as a 2-year-old, but she was an exceptional horse, and Mr. Phipps and I both were, you know, anxious to try her against the Colts. We thought that was a good spot here, and then, you know, with Easy Goer, But we must have another horse running the Jim Dandy, and so we decided to run him in the Whitney office Belmont, and he was able to win that. So they were all three special horses, and we were lucky to win a very special race.
What does it mean, talking about special race, to be in Saratoga and have a chance to participate and maybe win some of these important races?
Well, these races are very important. I mean, a race like the Whitney 750 Grade 1 mile and 8 against this field is very rewarding, and there's a lot of really, really good races up here. I mean, last year's Travers with Code of Honor was probably one of the most special races for me that I've been able to win, and because I'd set my sights on it ever since the Derby. And but there's so many. I mean, the Personal Instance Saturday, it'll be fun to watch that, and just the ones on down the line. Travers Day with some of the good races they are there on that day, and as we go on down the line, get to watch the 2-year-olds, and Saratoga is the racing here is a special thing, and this year's obviously a lot different, but still, the races are special races, and if you're lucky enough to be able to participate in them, it makes it that much more special.
Well, thanks, Shug. We feel fortunate to have you participating with Code of Honor. Wish you the best of luck, and thanks again so much for taking some time to come and join us. Thanks, Shug. John Kimmel, who trains Mr. Buff, the New York bred. And by the way, let me read through the field here, which I was remiss in doing. The number 1 is By My Standards, owned by Allied Racing Stable, trained by Brett Calhoun, ridden by Jose Ortiz, 9-2 morning line. The number 2 is Improbable, Windstar Farm, China Horse Club, SF Racing, trained by Bob Baffert, ridden by Irad Ortiz. The number 3 is Code of Honor, owned by William S. Farish, trained by Shug McGay, ridden by John Velasquez, 5-2, co-second choice with Improbable. The 4, Mr. Buff, trained by the man here, John Kimmel, for Chester and Mary Broman. Junior Alvarado, the rank outsider, at 12-1. And the favorite, the number 5, Tom's D'Etat, GMB Racing, Al Stahl, and Joel Rosario, the 6-5 morning line favorite. John, you've got the longest shot on the board. Are you encouraged because there have been some upsets? Maybe not as many as some people suggest in Saratoga, but maybe you could be the upsetter in this year's Whitney.
Well, we know this place has been known as the graveyard of favorites, but Mr. Buff is stepping into some deep water in this race. And people might look at his last race and just kind of think he's a little bit off form. But this horse has run commensurate numbers with all the horses in this race when he's been running against the New York bred company, and people obviously think he can't do it against open company. But this horse in his last race actually had a little bone bruise in his foot. He went into it thinking that it was okay, but I definitely think it bothered him. And the blacksmith, after that race, cut out a little area, and you actually had a little area of blood and some damage. And since we had reshod him, he's been a very happy horse here. He had 2 very nice breezes over the racetrack. We've got a racetrack that's very similar here now with a crushed stone base that's very similar to the Aqueduct track, where he's been phenomenal. And the other thing, there are no more New York bred races this year. So basically this horse was going to be sitting on the fence here for the whole summer unless we ran in this race. So he's out of conditions, obviously. The horse is a very good horse, and someday, maybe just like Bar Gold, they show up on the right day at the right time and knock the hell out of the odds.
Of course, Bar Gold, for the same connections, upset the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint a few years ago at about 70-1. Obviously, Mr. Buff has gotten more tractable, and he's rated in the past, but his weapon is his speed, and that's one of the things that's made him brilliant, as you mentioned in the past. I'm going to guess that this time, no holds barred, we're going to lead.
Well, I've been looking at the form a little bit, and I was hoping the Improbable was going to be improbable to enter this race, but he's obviously got some tactical speed, and he's to the inside of us. We're going to come out forward. He does run his best races, it seems, on the front end, and we're going to make sure that there's that opportunity for him in here. Junior has gotten to know him. He has sat off a horse before and won the race, but considering the way this race is so light with horses, he's going to come out forward and make sure that the pace is going to be legitimate.
Well, 39 years ago, and people still talk about it today, a New York bred named Fiorito upset the mighty winner's tail in the Whitney, so perhaps it'll be you this weekend, John. We wish you the best of luck, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Take care.
That concludes the draw for today's 93rd Whitney. We once again want to thank, and it's presented by ABR, and once again, thank you to everybody at ABR. 4 to 6 p.m. on FS1, covering the Whitney and other races this Saturday as part of our daily Saratoga Live coverage. Thank everybody. John Hendrickson remains if you want to speak with John as well, and we thank him for coming, and we want to wish everybody the best of luck and enjoy this weekend's 93rd running of the Whitney.